Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into a world that operates entirely in the shadows of our financial system. It's a world of unbelievable numbers, mind-bendingly complex schemes, and a very, very high-stakes game of cat and mouse. I mean, really think about it. The billions of dollars from drug trafficking or massive fraud or government corruption. You can't just stuff that under a mattress, right? And you definitely can't just walk into a bank and deposit it. So, where does it all go? That's for sure. It has to go somewhere. See, for that money to be useful to the criminals who stole it, it has to find its way back into the legitimate economy where they can actually spend it. And that's the word for it. This whole process of cleaning dirty money, making it look like it came from a legitimate source, well, that's at the heart of nearly every single major criminal enterprise on the planet. Okay, so let's get into this. To really understand the fight, you first have to understand what we're up against. And honestly, the scale of this problem is kinda hard to wrap your head around. Look at this number. That's not the total amount laundered every year. Nope. This is from one scandal, the Danske Bank case. A single branch of that bank was used to wash over $230 billion. Think about that. One bank, one branch. It just shows you how massive this ocean of illicit money really is. And that's the core definition right there. Whether we're talking about the crazy schemes you saw in the Panama Papers or the massive 1MDB scandal out of Malaysia, the goal is always, always the same. Take money made from crime and make it look clean. And this is not some victimless financial game, you know? This is the money that fuels even more crime and can warp entire economies. So how do they actually do it? It's not as simple as, throwing cash in a washing machine. It's a really sophisticated process, almost like a criminal's playbook that has some very distinct stages. And pretty much every scheme out there follows these three basic steps. First, you've got to get the dirty money into the financial system somehow. That's placement. Then you have to hide where it came from by creating a whirlwind of transactions. That's layering. And finally, you bring that clean money back into the economy like it was legitimate all along. That's integration. This brings us to one of the most important tools for any money launderer, the shell company. Now, they're not always illegal. They do have some legitimate uses, but their total anonymity and, lack of substance make them the absolute perfect vehicle for hiding who really owns the money. You can really see the difference here. On one side, you have a real business. It has a staff, a physical office. It actually does something. And on the other side, the shell company. It's often just a name, a registration paper, and a bank account. It's a completely hollow entity designed for one thing, to hide stuff. And it can get even more clever. Take this technique. Imagine you have a shipment of widgets that are really worth, say, $1 each. A criminal can just create a fake invoice claiming they're worth $100 each. By selling them to a partner overseas, they can move a huge amount of dirty money disguised as a perfectly normal payment for goods. Okay, so let's follow the money through that layering stage. The whole point here is to create a trail that is so confusing, it's almost impossible to follow. The first step is usually to get the cash offshore, into one of those shell companies in a country with really strict privacy laws. Next, you throw in some technology to make it even more confusing. The money gets converted into crypto and then it's tumbled or mixed, which is a process that just rapidly bounces the funds through this whole web of different digital wallets to totally break the chain of ownership. And finally, we get to the integration stage. That now hidden money is used to buy something real and expensive, like a luxury condo or a big commercial building. The criminal now owns a clean asset, and the dirty money has been completely absorbed into the legitimate economy. Mission accomplished. So if the criminals are this sophisticated, how in the world do we fight back? Let's flip the script and move to the other side of this battle and see how the good guys actually operate. This is the rulebook for the fight. Anti-money laundering, or AML as it's called, isn't just one thing. It's this whole massive framework of global and national rules that banks and other financial institutions have to follow to spot and report suspicious activity. So what does that look like day to day? Well, AML professionals have a toolkit. It all starts with Know Your Customer, or KYC, basically verifying you are who you say you are. That leads to Customer Due Diligence, or CDD, which is all about assessing your financial risk. And if something looks weird, if a person's transactions don't match their profile, the analyst files a Suspicious Activity Report, or SAR, with the authorities. But here's the single biggest challenge they face. The systems that are designed to catch bad guys generate thousands, sometimes millions of alerts. And the vast majority of these are false positives. They're just normal transactions that happen to trigger a rule. So analysts spend most of their time just wading through all this noise. And this is where technology is becoming a real game changer for the good guys, too. AI isn't replacing the human investigators. Think of it more like an assistant. It analyzes these huge sets of data to spot subtle patterns of suspicious behavior that a human might miss. And it helps prioritize the alerts that are most likely to be real crimes. It helps them find the signal in all that noise. But at the end of the day, this isn't just about algorithms and regulations. It's about people, the thousands of professionals who work every single day to protect our financial system. So what does it take to be on these front lines? It's this really unique mix of skills. You need a super analytical mind to connect all the dots, but you also need to be a strong writer because a clear, well-written report can be the one piece of evidence that unravels an entire global criminal network. And probably most important, you have to be able to adapt because the criminals are always changing their tactics. For a lot of people in this field, the motivation is really a sense of purpose. It's knowing that their work can have a real-world impact by disrupting the financial networks that fuel some of the worst crimes out there. They're trying to protect the integrity of a system that we all really depend on. But ultimately, this isn't a battle that can be won in the traditional sense. It's an ongoing, constantly shifting conflict. It's kind of like a never-ending heist that's being met with a never-ending pursuit. And that's really the question we're left with. In a world of instant payments, crypto, and digital finance, the speed of crime is just getting faster and faster. The challenge for regulators, for banks, and for the investigators is to evolve even faster. So can they stay ahead in this incredible, high-stakes race?